dehumanization of materialism. Can you just explain for a moment what that means for so our people can really understand what this dehumanization is?
Yeah. For example, I think that our economist culture is leading to a world where people are becoming workaholics, and they're becoming extremely busy. What's happening is their lives are become so busy making money and pursuing things that it leaves little time for deep relationships. Marriages are breaking down. Parents don't spend the kind of deep quality time with their children. People, especially men, don't have deep friendships. So it breaks down relationships. People are too busy to spend long times in prayer and the spiritual practices. It's affecting us physically because we're not spent. There's a whole book written by a family doctor that says our economistic culture is destroying our physical health. And it's destroying our physical health because we haven't even got time to spend an hour exercising. Psychologists, interestingly, are the people that are writing a lot about what consumerism is doing to us. It's leading to incredible stress. The happiness index that psychologists use have been going down since the 1950s. People are less and less happy. So I think that what it happens at so many relational levels, at what I'll call spiritual levels, at physical levels, at psychological levels, what's happening is we're not experiencing the fullness of human life that's coming because of an economistic culture that is destroying us. I think there's so many things like that. Let me just give you an example that most of us would not have even thought about. I hadn't thought about this, but this is a book. I think it's, if I remember right, it's called The Harried Class. I'm going to forget the details now because I read it so long ago, but let's say from the 1950s till today, till the time it was written, houses have doubled in size. People have increased the number of things that they have, maybe twice as many or whatever. I forget all the statistics, but you get the picture. Many more things. Then what they basically say is, look at this. A bigger house, more goods. Think of the time you spend in cleaning your house. Think of the time you spend in laundering your clothes. Think of the time you spend in taking care of your technology. And it starts to say, think of all the time you take in just taking care of the space and the goods you have. And it kind of breaks that down numerically and says, by the end, this is why we're so busy. We are using hours and hours every week just tending to our backyards, tending to our technology, tending to our clothing, tending to all the things that we have to take care of that people didn't have to do back in the 1950s, 40s, and 30s. And so the point being, again, a consumer culture seems to enrich our world. Just talk about all these good things we get. And what it's saying is, okay, you might be getting some good things, but let me just show you, having all these things is going to make you take a lot of time from you. And that time is going to be taken away from somewhere. Maybe your marriage, maybe your family, maybe being part of family, maybe your prayer life, maybe participation in church, maybe in volunteer groups in small towns in the United States. It's so interesting that they used to carry a lot of the weight of a social kind of networking and glue. And because of people's busyness, they're not doing things anymore. And a lot of that glue is causing towns to not have that kind of, say, social cohesion. So in other words, there's many ways, I think, in which we become dehumanized by an economistic world.
Is that book called The Harried Leisure Class by Stefan B. Linder?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's from 1970. Yeah. So that goes back a little bit. They're talking about that all the way back then, which is...
And just imagine today. Imagine today how many more goods we have. You know, I wonder how many people had two cars back then. A lot of family have two cars today. Just think of the time and money it takes to keep your cars running.
I don't want to think about it.
And I'll bet you they have about twice as many clothes now. I bet your houses are even bigger. I know that's what he's saying then is now multiplying.